Hey, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we're talking about storms across Texas all the way up to Wisconsin today. This storm risk stretches over 1,400 miles, and it's just one of many storm risks that we have over the next few days, all the way until Saturday. So what we're saying here is welcome to June. Storms continue every single day. The Southern Plains is really where we see that storm risk today, and we'll see those storms initiate anywhere between about 2 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Let's talk about that hail risk today. Large hail is absolutely possible. We're also going to see a high wind risk today, anywhere from Oklahoma City all the way down into Texas. And that tornado risk, it's on the board, but it's in the lower category, a level 1 today, still not 0, so you absolutely need to pay attention to that tornado risk today. And before we get started into your forecast here, I can see your questions and your comments on the side of the screen. So we will be showing those as we get those comments in. So let us know where you're watching from today. Alrighty, taking a look at Tuesday. Today, here's your risk. This risk stretches all the way down from Abilene, Texas, all the way up into Michigan. Over 1,400 miles this risk stretches across the United States. Tomorrow, we have 2 different risks, one out in New Mexico and southern Colorado, another through the Midwest. By Thursday, our main focus is down in the plains, but we do have another risk for storms up in our New England states. But really that main area, and we're watching for a tornado threat here, will be anywhere from southern Kansas, northern Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas. Friday, another chance for storms. Yes, I told you this chance for storms is just every single day. We have a storm risk every single day here. Anywhere from Colorado all the way to the middle of Tennessee. And Saturday, another round of storms from Oklahoma off to Alabama. It's just day after day, but let's take it one day at a time. Let's actually go back to yesterday. So yesterday we saw storms out in Tampa. Lots of people asking about Tampa yesterday. What we saw here is it's just one isolated storm that kind of separated itself from this cluster of storms, went up into Tampa, increased the wind was the first thing that we saw here. We had over 60 mile per hour wind speeds right in the heart of Tampa. Then out to the north and east, that's whenever we started to see that hail fall down. Ping pong ball size hail in this area. From Tampa to Orlando, that map yesterday was a 2-star map. After that, our attention focused back into the Texas Panhandle and up into Minnesota, where this was a wind bag yesterday, but all of these storms were. Look how many little blue dots you can see with that high wind reported yesterday. Hail, of course, mixing in there, but I don't think that we got anything over a 2-star for our hail maps yesterday. Lots of wind, though. Very, very high wind gusts yesterday. All right, there's your risk today. I told you over 1,400 miles. With that, over 1,400 miles for the length of the risk today. So anywhere from Abilene, Texas, all the way up to Michigan. Let's talk about those storms right now. Pretty quiet across Dallas right now. You could see storms later on today. Wichita, we actually have a severe thunderstorm warning for Wichita right now, so let's get more information on that. And I see your questions on here. Alrighty, let's get more information on this Wichita storm. I've got my computer to the side. I see Joel is on here asking about the Joplin area. We'll get to that question here in just a few minutes. But hang on one second. Let's get more information on this storm out in Wichita. So this is what we like to call your marginally severe storm, just barely over severe thresholds, producing up to quarter-size hail, 1 inch in diameter, and 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This is your average everyday summer severe thunderstorm warning. And I think that this is the only severe thunderstorm warning we have on the board right now as we go up Highway 35 here into Emporia, Kansas. I mean, it's a complete downpour in this area. These storms are slowly moving to the east, so you could have some flood issues on the highway in here as well. Going up to Kansas City, we've just got the first few sprinkles, but as I show you this rotation here, There we go. This radar loop, excuse me here, what you can see are these storms are slowly tracking off to the east, but kind of making that northeast turn here. So Kansas City, if you're going to see storms, it'll be a while until those storms get to you. Alrighty, moving on to your forecast here. Let's talk about current temperatures. I see some of your other questions. We appreciate you guys hopping in here. Michael saying, come on, hail in Kansas City. I'll show you your hail map here in just a minute. Okay, let's get to your current temperatures right now. Pretty quiet across the Northeast, pretty quiet across Florida, except for a few light to moderate showers. There's all kinds of rain across Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota right now. Temperatures are sitting in the 80s. It's warm here in Oklahoma City, but it's a nice, comfortable day out in Kansas City at 68, 85 in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the 80s for most of us across the Southeast. Here is your hail forecast map. So significant hail model. What we are watching for here are these yellows, oranges, and reds. Yellows usually indicate anywhere between quarter, maybe up to ping pong ball size hail. Once we get into the oranges, you've got ping pong to maybe up to tennis ball size hail, and then the reds are those large hailstones, tennis ball and greater. So what we're seeing here, and I'll slow this down here in just a minute, are these yellows mixing in every now and then to places like Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and down in Texas. Let's rewind to this and let's go down into these cities. So we've got Dallas. Hang on, let me just show you guys that again. Let's go back. Maybe. You guys see me pressing the button here? My computer's running slow today. Okay, so let's rewind that and show you this again. Here we are at noon. We do have a little bit of a hail risk if we could get storms to form across the southern side of Kansas and into Missouri. So maybe some small hail in there, up to the size of a quarter, isolated larger hailstones. Oklahoma City, pretty similar here. We've got some yellows mixing into Dallas as well. We can go down into each of those cities now, taking a look at Dallas. We still have some yellows trying to mix in, but you can tell in here, we're not seeing those oranges. We're not seeing those reds. So that's just a quick way to tell us that hail size or that hail forecast today is not overall promising for widespread large hailstones. Could we have an isolated larger hailstone mix in? Sure, it's possible. It's June. It is still severe weather season. It's possible. But for the most part, I kept that risk for larger hail today on the lower side. You're going to see a lot of green chips in here, like in Chicago. Very low chance for hail today. Green Bay, also keeping that at a low chance. Maybe better chances farther to the west. You go down to Iowa, Kansas City, I have you in the moderate risk. Again, I think that your max hail size today will only be ping pong ball size hail, and that may be stretching it a little bit. Wichita, we've already got that quarter size hail in Wichita, I think very similar out in Oklahoma City, and then Abilene, Texas is where we're going to see the largest hailstones. Now, what about some of these bigger cities in here? Dallas, I'm keeping you in the low risk as well. I think that this is going to be more of a wind storm for Dallas. Very similar for Tulsa. Could you see isolated larger hailstones? It's possible. Again, I am not very optimistic on large hailstones today, just being very truthful with you here. What am I optimistic on? Wind. I think very similar to yesterday. We're going to see some high wind gusts out there today. Green Bay to Chicago, 60 to 65, maybe up to 70 mile per hour wind speeds today. Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma City, once again seeing some of those higher wind gusts, 65, maybe 70, 75 miles an hour. Dallas and Tulsa also keeping you guys in that moderate, that level 2 risk for high wind today. Now let's talk about that tornado risk, because we do have a low tornado risk, but it's still on the board, it's not zero. So some isolated tornadoes could spin up in here, and what we're going to see is we're going to see long lines of thunderstorms today. Every now and then you could see a spin-up tornado. Now, just to clarify, a spin-up tornado does not mean a weak tornado. It means that it happens fast. So you need several ways to get your weather alerts, because these storms can happen pretty fast in your area. Joplin, I know we had a question about Joplin earlier, level 1 risk for tornadoes today. You could get some very, very small hail, but it's a low chance. And your wind in Joplin will be anywhere between 60 to 70 miles an hour. Chicago is basically out of that tornado risk. Your tornado risk is farther off to the west. And moving on to your timeline today. So let's talk about your timeline. The earliest initiation for most of these storms across Texas and Oklahoma will be about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we're talking about within the next hour and a half, we'll start to see storms go up across Texas, Oklahoma, more storms up in Kansas. We've already got a few storms in Kansas today. You may have several rounds of storms here where we may see that first initial line of storms come in by about 2 to 4. Another line of storms 5 to 7 o'clock tonight. What we're really watching for here, again, I told you a long line of storms, and basically the biggest hazard is that we're watching for here will be that high wind threat, 60 to 70 miles an hour. 5 o'clock, rush hour. Look how many storms are on the board during rush hour. Before you head out, make sure that you are taking a look at the radar, pull out your phone, watch your local news station to take a look at the radar and see where are those storms. Can you make it home before those storms come in? Do you have to wait a little bit? Just take a look at the radar. You don't want to be in traffic while it's just pouring on you. Storms are likely to last as we head into the late night hours tonight. Now let's go up to the north. We'll head into Kansas City now, where you guys have some showers lingering around you right now. However, those will mainly come in later on this afternoon as well, hopefully clearing the area before you head home. So this will be mainly an afternoon event out in Kansas City. For the most part, these are slow movers, so you may have some flood issues as you head home if these linger for too long. So your evening commute could be a very wet one. Make sure that you're avoiding those areas that often flood. You know, those areas of your neighborhood or of your drive home that always have water standing on the highway or maybe in the intersection. Just try to avoid those areas today. And as we go up into Chicago, it's going to be a pretty low chance for those severe threats in Chicago. That tornado risk will be mainly out to the west of the city itself, but we could still see some of that high wind in Chicago as storms slowly creep your way as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So just a review here, what are we expecting over the next few days? Storms today from Chicago all the way down to Dallas. We even have a risk in Michigan today. Storms tomorrow out to the Midwest, including southern Illinois, most of Indiana, and the western side of Ohio. And then we have another risk for storms out in New Mexico. By Thursday, we have a risk for storms in the Northeast. However, I'm not too concerned with those. The main risk will be down in the plains on Thursday, another round of storms on Friday, and another round of storms on Saturday. Now, let me tell you something about these storms, especially looking at it this far out. Like, we're looking at this 5 days out. We're going to get more information on these storms as we get closer to the storm date, right? So we're going to get more information on Friday's storms on Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure you come back over and over for your most up-to-date forecast, because we'll give you the most up-to-date information. We have so many meteorology brains back here talking about the forecast with their hands on what we expect to happen today. And then once the storms hit, all of those Mets are also mapping those storms as well. So we will help you with the pre, during, and post activity of those storms. Let's see what other questions that we have before we hop off of here. One question coming in from YouTube. Greetings from St. Paul, Minnesota. The air smells like fire even indoors. Very strong. Yeah, I know we've got some smoke coming down from Canada right now. It may be a little hazy out there, and you may also see some of those really red sunsets because of that smoke as well. You guys got lots of rain over the last 10 hours. You're going to get probably more rain today as well. Alrighty, thanks for your questions. We appreciate it. Let's wrap up here. I'll show you what we're expecting as we head into the next week. We are going to continue in this very active pattern here as we head into Friday and Saturday. So we have a risk for storms even through the weekend. And we'll probably continue this for a good portion of the very beginning of June. June so far has started out very active, and we're going to continue to see that as we head into the next week. Hey, over the last 24 hours, you guys have cooled off a little bit from the northern plains all the way up to Minnesota. We're still pretty warm out to the east, but we'll see that cool down within the coming days. So thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We will have a forecast for you tomorrow as well. But in the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and give us a call at 855-334-4245 for all of those updated storm, hail, wind, tornado maps. You can always email us if you have questions about the maps or need tech help with the app. And head over to our website for more information, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.